Hey everyone, Discord here, and welcome back to another Zoo Tour Snippets video. Today we are visiting Seelter Reptilienhuus, a small reptile house in Germany that holds many rare species of crocodile. Almost every species in here I had never before seen myself, so it was an absolute delight. Even better was that I had a chance to meet the owner, and we had a great chat about how the reptile house came to be. Basically, the owner of the zoo had been keeping reptiles ever since he was a mere 10 years old. In Germany, it's not allowed to keep any dangerous reptiles until you're an adult, so he had to wait until he was 18 years old to buy his first crocodile, a spectacled caiman. Over the years, his collection expanded and he made himself known in the crocodile world, starting to collaborate with facilities like the Crocodile Zoo in Denmark, who he exchanged crocodiles with and helped breeding crocodiles and so on. So there's really close ties between the Saltwater Crocodiles and the Crocodile Zoo in Denmark, which I think is really cool to see the collaboration like that, even with a facility like this, which is more privately owned and only recently became accessible to the public. Together with the Danish Crocodile Zoo, the owner built this greenhouse that you're currently seeing here, which has 8 of these pretty similar looking crocodile enclosures. At a quick glance, these enclosures might seem a little bit on the small side, but rest assured they are all well above the minimum requirements set for these species, thanks to some clever design. Basically, the water section continues underneath the land section, effectively doubling the space that the animals have access to. Should an animal still grow too large for this enclosure, there's plenty of other options for them, like the Danish Crocodile Zoo, but also other homes that they can be then sent to be replaced with a smaller specimen again. Another great feature of the water section is that keepers can block off the top part, locking the animal in the water section and allowing keepers access to the land part of the enclosure for cleaning and maintenance and stuff like that. Throughout the greenhouse, you can find an array of live plants, which also contribute to filtering the water, as well as giving the space a more professional, tropical look. It really does look quite nice. You might also notice these little spikes on the branches. At some point there were Java sparrow flying around in here, and the spikes prevented them from perching above the visitor area and pooping on the visitors. They've also considered allowing monkeys to roam the greenhouse at some point, but at the moment that's not the case, although it would be quite interesting. Beside the large enclosures, there are also some smaller enclosures you can see within the greenhouse. This dwarf crocodile is in the back over here in this enclosure because it's currently recovering from being housed in improper conditions before. It was confiscated by authorities and now it's just being housed here for the time being. These other smaller enclosures house juvenile animals. In the back there is this beautiful door which goes backstage. I was allowed to take a look in there, though I wasn't able to film anything, but basically it had some additional holding for animals currently not on display, including more rescues or otherwise confiscated animals. On top of that there was a small kitchen and a filtration system for all the crocodile enclosures. I was told the filtration system was basically the same one you would get for something like a large koi pond. Something you can't see in my video behind my camera fogging up after I entered the greenhouse for the first time is that it's very hot and humid in here, perfect conditions for the crocodiles. The greenhouse features some automated climate control, checking the humidity and the temperature, and if the temperature gets too high, windows can be opened up automatically. If humidity raises too much, the ventilation will activate, etc. So all the kind of things that you need to take into account with a tropical house like this, even a small one, but it also goes for if you are building a large tropical house in Planet Zoo. Those are things that those large tropical houses have as well. All of this climate control does come at quite the cost, especially nowadays with rising energy prices, and for that reason the reptile house here probably won't be adding more tropical environments anytime soon, but they still might expand in other ways when possible. Since the place is mostly volunteer run, they can't have too many animals that require large amounts of care. Crocodiles are relatively simple, of course, they only need to be fed every so often, whereas other animals might need care every day or so. Anyway, that's pretty much everything there is to see in the greenhouse. Leaving the greenhouse, let's have a closer look at the enclosures at the entrance. Here you can find a few smaller reptiles and fish, including some venomous snakes, an electric eel, green anaconda, and an Asian water monitor. The enclosures are somewhat simple, but comparable to what I've seen at other facilities, and While talking to the owner, it became clear to me that the animals here are in great care. Take the water monitor for example. Just like with the crocodile enclosures, its water area continues underneath the land part, giving it a lot more space. It also has plenty of climbing opportunities, and even still, this is not its permanent enclosure. Eventually it will also receive a much larger space in the greenhouse. All in all, I had a great time here. I loved seeing all the different kinds of crocodile especially, but that is everything that I've got to show you for the Seelter Reptilienhuus. So I hope you enjoyed and got some inspiration for Planet Zoo. Consider this the saltwater crocodile inspiration video for the time being. If I ever end up visiting another facility that houses salties, I will make the real life inspiration video, but with only one enclosure there is not really a point to it. If you're ever near this awesome little reptile house, be sure to drop by, especially if you're a fan of crocodiles, of course, because you will be able to get to see a whole bunch of them. But I think that's all for now. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!